Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Digital Presence Update by Task Solutions. Is Google becoming the internet's gatekeeper? That's what we're going to talk about today. And for those who don't know me, I am Joe Wallace with Task Solutions, owner and CEO. And basically, what we do is we do to help people and small businesses understand digital presence, what it takes to be showing up online, not just through Google and all the myriad other places like Bing and Yahoo and yada yada, Yelp, whatever. Show up online there, but to also ensure that you have great reputation and that your digital presence is kicking because you're doing all the things you need to do to make it happen. That being said, what are we talking about today? Because today, I'm not talking about me. I'm going to talk about you guys and what you need to know about what's happening right now in the digital presence land. So, first things first. Google. Are they becoming the internet's gatekeeper? You guys decide. I'll let you know what's going on first. So, I want to say that Google is kind of moving from being a search engine to more of a recommendation engine. Okay? Everything kind of revolves around that idea, it seems. For years, Google's job has kind of been to help people find information, right? And I think we all kind of saw it that way. But increasingly right now, Google's job is becoming more deciding which information people should see. And that's a pretty big difference. And one of the main reasons why they probably feel this way is because, well, let's just say that they've shared as much. They basically stated as much. And what do I mean by that? Well, they have put it that this is a new era for search, AI search. And basically, they're claiming that they're basically creating the biggest upgrade, if you will, to search in the past 25 years. It isn't a small claim, is it? It really isn't. And the real question is what's going on with that? Well, let's take a quick look at what some of these things are. And maybe it's best if we just kind of watch the video real quick. Before I do that, let me actually change this real quick so you can hear the audio. Let me remove that. Stop the screen. Share said screen again. Now let's get some audio real quick. There we go. That's going to work just fine. All right. Here we go. You probably ask yourself why, right? And I know a lot of people are. This is what's happening right now in Google. This is already here to a certain extent, but it's going to become, fully online in the near future. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to start having a lot of questions, basically, at that point. A lot of people are going to be very, very confused at first, I think. And at the same time, they're probably going to be very, they're just going to be lost. To be honest with you. And for those that are listening to the audio version of this podcast, I just played a video that went over some of the things that are happening right now in Google's AI mode land. So right now it's being used all the time, and the reason why AI mode is being used all the time is because you really don't have much of a choice. You do a search on Google, and Google tends to just automatically do an AI overview for you, which means that obviously I think their numbers are a little puffed, but it is definitely very high, the amount of people that are using it. So what they're doing obviously is they're trying to really ensure that the agents are as accessible as they can be. But the problem is that we don't know exactly how verbose they're going to be and what information they're going to have access to. So this is really important to understand. I mean, this is not only a huge announcement. we're talking about AI mode getting AI overviews, sure, but AI agents are really going to change the game quite a bit. So let's talk about this for a second. The old Google had 10 blue links, roughly, right? When you did a search. That was kind of the method, if you will. Now, and well, then the user decides, right? You decide where you want to go from there. Now, though, the new Google is summary first, right? You get that first. Recommendations first. AI interpretation first. That is what you get. So let me run this real quick. I'm going to try this real quick and see what you guys think. You tell me if this is any different than how things used to work. Okay. So 1 second. All right. So I broke my handle on my let's say power washer, and I need to replace it and the stupid chain. Now let's do a crank rope or whatever it's called. Let's not make it hard or expensive or whatever. And I'm really doing it this way because I want you to understand why. I want you to see what's going to happen next. So the moment I hit that, enter on that, that's going to search, right? And it's going to take me here. So let's look at what this is first before just scrolling down. What is it that we see? Well, right away, I can tell you that we see that we're replacing the starter cord overview, right? This is an overview of how to replace the starter cord, okay, in the power washer. What you'll also notice is that it has a bunch of information that has been pulled from one, Lowe's, right, where I can buy said thing, okay, sure. Two, it has the information pulled from a YouTube video. In fact, it has multiple videos, usually, like right here, video here, and then Google's own little thing here, as you can see, and TikTok video as well. So this is all being pulled. So what this means is that the AI has already transcribed this video, looked at it, and has found the information inside that video. It's referencing the information. That's a recommendation, right? If I go down a little bit, you'll see nothing but social media posts first and social media locations where you're getting information referenced to the exact thing that I've asked about or close enough to it. This is very different than going to a website, right, that will help me replace this through some sort of service, which is what we probably would have gotten had we actually been the old Google, right? Or at least they would start seeing some information about articles and stuff like that. Maybe blog articles and stuff like that about how this works. Now we get nothing but social media posts, usually videos. That's very, very different than what it used to be like. And that's really just food for thought, isn't it? And let's not forget, this stuff has been happening over time. So you probably didn't even notice the change. But it's here and it's still happening. So, what does that mean? Well, rankings are no longer the same as visibility. That's what this means. Recent search engine land reporting, found that AI visibility can be up to 30 times harder than traditional Google rankings. Let me say it again. It can be 30 times harder to show up on AI than ranking in Google. That's it right there. That's a significant jump, right? So you may be ranking well online, for instance, and not appearing in AI answers. You may be ranking well, but not being cited by AI, basically, or recommended, if you will. So what I can basically tell you is that a business can rank #1 and still be invisible to AI. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Google AI Mode, all these different LLMs evaluate businesses differently. Okay. So imagine having the best restaurant in town, right? And every tour guide kind of forgets to mention you. That's kind of what's happening with AI right now in AI search. You could have the best business. It's been recommended for a very long time by people that know you and love you, and maybe even search up well on Google or in other places in terms of just traditional search, especially if you're running ads, stuff like that. But hey, you haven't done anything organic to really make that growth happen well, right? So Google is basically saying to you, if you were to ask it, they're basically wanting you to be a trustworthy source. That's effectively what they're quietly kind of telling you without saying it out loud too hard. I mean, they kind of said it out loud with the most recent updates. So let's talk about how that works, right? Just really, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but to really quickly go over it, it's kind of, you want to make sure that you become a preferred source, and that you want to basically prove that you are adding value without actually having to change your message and like that. Keep everything consistent, and that's how you do it, by keeping everything consistent and doing things properly. So some of those, we're basically talking about trust signals, right? And those are reviews, authority, consistency, and citations, and real expertise that you have. Those are all things that you can show and utilize to show that you're a preferred source. And it's important to remember that digital presence isn't about marketing as much anymore as it is about proof. And that's what you're creating in all these things. So yes, is it annoying to have to write and create social media posts? Absolutely. But is it a great way to show proof that you know what you're talking about? Absolutely. So write some educational posts, slap a photo on it, or even better, record yourself doing it. Record yourself actually talking about the things that you know or that you want to educate your clients on. Just get the information out there. You will show that you know what you're talking about, and there's proof right there. Not only are you going to convince somebody that's actually watching you, it's a real person, that you know what you're talking about, but you're also going to convince the bots. You're also going to convince the AI. You're going to convince the algorithms that you are, in fact, trustworthy, and then they're going to cite you and actually make you more visible through AI mode on Google. That's simple, right? Now, there's more to it, obviously. You're going to need to make sure that you have reviews, right? You know, that's another trust signal. You need to make sure that you are consistent, that you're consistently making posts, not just making posts in spurts, you know, making 200 posts in 1 month and then none for the rest of the year. That's not going to cut it, guys. They know that game, and you won't win that way. One post every single week, or even one post every month is going to beat out 200 posts in a year, but you did it all at once. Just one post a month for a year would beat that out every time. So here's the thing to remember. AI search is creating winners and losers. See, before you just didn't rank high. And yeah, sure, you could say that's losing by not ranking high, but you still showed up on a list, didn't you? When you in Google search, it was just really far down the list. But now you won't show up at all because in AI mode and other things like that, where you have these LLMs basically giving you the information, you don't exist because you don't have referenceable material. They're not going to cite you. They're not going to recommend you. They don't know you exist, even though you may show up on the list on traditional Google search. And for now, traditional Google search is in fact still there. So you can scroll down far enough to get to a second page, a third page, a 25th, 2,000 pages, whatever down the line. And, you can still click on links. So that's still there to a certain extent. But here's something that's also interesting as well. Apparently, Google AI Overviews now cut search links 42%. Guess what? You are now getting less links visible to you, not more. So that means that you are now not going to show up on the list potentially at all anymore, even in the place that you were almost guaranteed to show up somewhere on, even if it was 200 pages towards the back. Doesn't matter. So this is something that we really need to think about in the near future, right? So what can we do about it? That's the real question, isn't it? Well, the future of search really isn't going to be about traffic then, if that's the case, right? It's going to be about trust. And that is what you have to build. Again, trust signals. So, because guys, if fewer people are clicking on links, then visibility becomes more about the recommendation, more about the citations, and more about the recognition. It's not traffic alone. Okay. So, and another thing that recently came out is that there's these 4 signals that are really starting to push massive signals. 4 major visibility signals that kind of really influence AI search visibility now. And this just basically talks about what I've always been talking about. Authority, citations, consistency, and relevance. I mean, these are all the things that I've been kind of shooting at people's ears for the past, few years. So it's definitely important to take a look at this and remember this is just more reinforcement that, hey, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff, and we're still in it. That being said, I want to quickly go through some more digital presence updates, some quick fire updates that should probably go on here. So obviously, Google had a big May core update that came out, and basically what that means is that you're going to be seeing that quality matters more, trust continues to matter, and shortcuts continue to lose. Effectively, the major core updates really hit home on the reviews needing to be more detailed, as well as you're going to see significant volatility, basically moving around quite a bit on your rankings, as well as your now search visibility inside the LLMs. So it's really important that you guys pay attention to exactly what's going on with that. I want to mention that the search status dashboard's also been updated, so that's pretty cool. This will also help you stay abreast of any other updates that they're going to have. It's not a foolproof thing, as you can see, Google is, as ever, so descriptive about what's in their updates. So keep that in mind that this just tells you that the core update is actually coming. It doesn't actually tell you what's in the updates. We kind of figure that out as we go, right? Always been that way for them. Update number 2, obviously, was my mention that there's 4 major visibility signals. And of course, number 3, guys, structured data is mattering more and more and more. Schema is becoming increasingly important, right? And it's actually more important than ever. So things like FAQs, on-page content that needs to be good to go. This is where your websites come in, right? This is where the websites are still important argument, and it's very true because that's your home base, right? That's where everything needs to be accurate. You need to put your information there. Definitely something to keep in mind. Another thing to mention in this is that false positives are a thing. Look, we need to make sure that everything that you have is accurate, not just on your website. I mentioned that already, but also on Google Profile and your listings. Because look, I like this one right here. Market business as a medical provider without appropriate credentials. That could happen if you're not keeping tabs on your Google profile. Someone can list you as not having a proper credential. Temporarily closed. Permanently closed. If you're not paying attention, suddenly you're wondering why if you're wondering why nobody's talking to you or you have no traffic on your online digital presence, is because you may not be paying attention to something that is killing you in terms of visibility. And of course, with that being said, number 4, Google is testing more conversational search. So now AI is going to be in front again, as we can see right here. So now you're basically going to start seeing search specifically. What was this again? Search directly inside the Chrome address bar. So now, and directly in Chrome address bar right here, you're going to actually start being able to get AI overviews as you start typing things out, potentially in the address bar. It's just going everywhere, isn't it? So guys, to really just bring it all together, I don't think we're watching the death of search. All right, I'm not trying to tell you that everything is going bye-bye entirely, at least not yet. But what I am telling you is that I think we're watching the evolution of trust, right? The businesses that win over the next few years won't necessarily be the loudest, like I've been saying. They'll be the ones that look trustworthy, the most trustworthy, to both people and machines. Okay. So remember, we're not in this to make it difficult. We're not in this to tell you that all hope is lost when it comes to AI and search engines and stuff like that. There is a method to this madness. And if you're looking to roll with the punches on this, if you're looking to roll with trying to still show up online, you can use the tools that we have to make that happen. And there is definitely going to be a lot more of this staying as more of a suggestion right now. All the stuff that's happening with AI is kind of a suggestion to a certain extent, but it's becoming more and more increasingly relevant and more increasingly not a choice anymore for you to do that. I mean, the idea that you can't have a listing service now so that you can make sure everything's updated with accuracy and your citations are accurate online is just not, that's not negotiable anymore. It's not well, I don't really need to do that. No. In fact, if you've only ever done a one-time citation push where you've gone to over 150 sites around the internet and it's made sure that your information's accurate, you've only done it one time, you are wasting your time with that now. It needs to update every 4 hours. Are you going to do that? Are you going to spend the money to do that? The one-time pushes. Spend $300, $400 with some person that says they'll do it for you and do that every 4 hours? Or are you going to spend a little bit of money per month in comparison and have it be done for you every 4 hours, no problem, without you ever having to touch a thing? Something that Task Solutions can do for you, of course. That being said, this is Joe Wallace with Task Solutions. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the week. Get started on digital presence if you haven't already, guys. It's not a choice. You need to do it. And if you're not doing it, you are going to have a very rough time with your business in the near future. That being said, I'm Joe Wallace, and I'm helping you make sense of what's changing so you can keep moving forward. Take care.